guys, Josh Cassie coming to you here for another video. And today is my Marvel review. And so, without further ado, let's begin. So, what I have to say about Marvel is that out of all the superhero franchises, DC and Marvel, I love Marvel the best. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And to be honest with you, DC cannot keep up with Marvel. And they're trying to, is probably one of the reasons why their movies aren't all that good. I mean, I do have to say that they're okay. I don't say I dislike them, as most people do, but I just find them okay. But that's DC, and we'll just leave that to another review. So, Marvel. I pretty much, I wouldn't say I had grown up on Marvel, but I think back in the day, I watched a lot of Iron Man shows when I was like really little. A lot of Iron Man shows, and I went to see Iron Man with my dad and my brother, and that's why Iron Man is technically my favorite character. I mostly pretty much the Marvel I watched when I was younger was Iron Man. So, that's why it's my favorite character. It's not because of his powers, not because of the things he did in the comics, not what he's like in the movies either, because the cartoons are different than what happened in the movies and the cartoons, because it's made for kids, but, and I know he doesn't have powers. All he is a suit, but Iron Man is my favorite of the Marvel superheroes. I have no doubt. Some people it's Captain America, some people it's Hulk, some people it's Thor. Me, it's Iron Man. And I think it's also cool because maybe the metal or stuff used to build the Iron Man is fake. But it's actually really possible to create a metal suit. I mean, I think it'd be possible that can fly. I mean, it's just a suit version of a plane, right? Planes fly. Now, I don't know the science, so I can't say anything like that. But Iron Man is actually technically possible, in a way. So I think that's another interesting fact. And I know the movies, I like the first one. The second, third one were okay. I know a lot of people didn't really like them, especially how they pictured the Mandarin. And I really wish they could make an Iron Man 4, which will show the real Mandarin. That would be awesome, and I think a lot of people want that, but sadly, it probably won't happen. Because, Robert Downey Jr., who plays Iron Man in the movies, doesn't want to do that. So, and I really feel like they should fix the continuity error of Rhodey changing people in 1 and 2 of the Iron Man movies. Now, in just a movie perspective, yes, I mean, it doesn't really matter. But in a universe matter, which is what the MCU takes place, where the Iron Man movies take place, they need to fix that. And they fixed some other continuity errors, like the both Infinity Gauntlets, the one man, why is this shaping my head? Asgard, and then the one that, Thanos has, and they fixed it. The one in Asgard is fake, a replica. So they need to fix that. For sure. In my opinion, they could fix it where they have a movie where, Rhodes, I mean, they don't have to bring back the original actor. They could just pretend that the Rhodes is in a plane, and the plane crashes, and then he goes to the hospital, and he's all bandaged up and all that, and they said they had to do plastic surgery, and Tony Stark says, go ahead, he'll pay for everything, and then that's how, so he has plastic surgery, and they had to do a lot of stuff, and then that's how he looks different in Iron Man 2. I mean, I think that'd be an awesome way. I mean, I think that's the only way they could do it, like realistically. But if they could do something magical, I don't know. But that's usually not what the Iron Mans are, which is a little bit reason why I'm not. There's other Marvel movies I like better than the Iron Man movies, because it has that feeling that there's that certain I don't know how to describe it, but Iron Man movies don't have what the other movies technically have, that because I think it's realistic. That's the point it's supposed to take. And that's the point. Like, it doesn't feel like Captain America doesn't feel like realistic. I mean, and neither does Thor or them or the Avengers. I mean, there has that thing I say that the Iron Man movies don't have that I really like in the movies, but that's mostly because Iron Man's supposed to show the realistic side. Like, I think that's what Iron Man is supposed to be, so I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. But now before I keep talking about Marvel, I want to going into the Avengers here. Well, first, Captain America, the first Avenger. I really liked it. In fact, even though it's kind of like set back in the time, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought when I first watched it, and I really liked it. So now Thor, the first one, it was really interesting. I really liked it, and I know it has to do with God and all that. That's kind of against what I believe in, and I really don't care what that thing says. In my book, it's just a superhero, and I really don't pay attention to any of that so-called godness aspect of it. I just ignore that, and it doesn't really hurt the movie for me at all, and I think it's really interesting. The Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, I thought was okay, but I don't think it was good. And then most people can relate to that. And I really wish they come out and announce that that's not part of the MCU. Because they switched the actors too. And the animation of the Hulk is way better in the Avengers than in that movie, I have to say. That movie, The Incredible Hulk, is a abomination of a movie. If you get what I get that. But only if you're a Marvel fan you will get that, and you watch the movie you only get that pun I just did. But I won't explain it because then that would ruin the joke. So so basically, yeah, I really wish I know they can, and I know they don't want to, and I know they probably can't really, because the Hulk is really owned by Universal. So they can't really make another Hulk movie, but they need something. Like, either just announce that movie's not part of the MCU, or redo it with and maybe have some other characters in it, just so that it's not Hulk just alone, because I know Hulk doesn't really do well alone. And I know a lot of people want more Hulk, even though that's not really what the Hulk is. That's not what Bruce is. That's not his story. The story is he doesn't want to be the Hulk. And a lot of people, I think that's one of the main reasons why they didn't like the Hulk movie. But I really feel like they could have handled it better, and they need to edit, because, like I said, continuity error. He's the only continuity error in that movie, because they kept the actor. Like, for General Ross, it's the same actor, so as you could tell in Captain America Civil War. So that's the only continuity error they have. So they need to either announce that it's not part of the MCU, that will just fix everything, or they redo it, and, well, they still have to say that that's not part of the MCU. I mean, either way, but, just redo it. I mean, they don't have to. By just saying it's not part of the MCU can fix it, but creating another movie would just hype in that. I know it might not come out well, and that's why you need fans. I think if fans don't like it, and like, you're having a hard time creating a Hulk, maybe fans could do it. Like, I know a lot of companies probably don't want to do that, but I feel like that might be the kind of the best option. But I know, like, a lot of, like, people who know the comic books, who read them, I think that in a way can help. I mean, fans who are really passionate. I know that different fans want certain things, but I think there are people out there that know what fans want, and they also know what they personally want. And I think they can pull. I think there will be people out there that can pull it off, but I don't know. And maybe even in that movie, could also even pull off the War Machine thing I said. The road fix. You know, like during the experiment that they were having, roads just flying by, and they saw the green light, and he got off and crashed. I mean, you know, something. I don't know. I think that's something they need to really fix. It's one of the biggest problems right now in the MCU, and the hugest continuity error is that movie. So, but they fixed everything else. I think. I don't think there is anything, but those two are the only Rhodes and the Hulk are I think the only two continuity errors left. I mean, I could be wrong. There could be others, but they usually fix it in a funny way. But I don't know how they're going to fix that, and they kind of need to fix it. And I don't think they're going to anytime soon or even ever fix it. But now let's move on to the Avengers. The Avengers, which is one of my favorite movies. In fact, it could be my most favorite movie. Now I would say Star Wars, but I like that as a category of movies more than just specifically one of them. So, because I can't really pick which is my favorite Star Wars movie. I really love them all. And I know a lot of people don't like Last Jedi. I know a lot of people do, but I actually like The Last Jedi. And there's some things I didn't like about The Last Jedi, but this is Marvel, so why am I talking about Star Wars here? But let's just get back. So now we're going to the Avengers. One of my most favorite movies, and a lot of favorites for others. I mean, it was really good. And I wish, like, they did a better job with Age of Ultron, but, you know, let's not go from there. Really, I'll show, first before I talk about the Avengers, I want to show you guys something. So, this, I designed myself, basically it's Marvel with the Avengers and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, when I first heard of the Avengers was an animated series which I watched with my dad because he liked it too, and it was called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and in that show the Avengers were Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. All of them were the Avengers. Of course, the Ant-Man and the Wasp in that show was Hank Pym and Janet. But I feel like even if it's the new Ant-Man and the Wasp or the previous one, you still can't have the Avengers without Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, I accepted it in the first Avengers movie, and I did accept that, but and I also accepted it in Avengers Age of Ultron because Ant-Man they didn't introduce Ant-Man yet, and so that in my so I understand that, but if the Avengers Infinity War, which is the third one, Avengers movie, and Avengers 4 don't have Ant-Man and the Wasp and all the Avengers there, I don't know what to do with that. It just doesn't feel like an Avengers to me. I know it's the new Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it doesn't matter to me as long as that they're in the movie. And Captain America Steve Rogers has to be Captain America not nomad, which means no country. He has to be Captain America, and all of them have to be in one Avengers movie, and none of them could be secretly Skrull. They all have to be there, and no character can die. They all have to be in at least one Avengers movie before any of them die. Then I'll be satisfied. I'll be very much satisfied. I don't care if one of them died in the movie while all of them were there. It's just as long as that each of them were there and they battled and all that. That's what I want. But it probably won't happen, and that'd be unfortunate. But I don't really have any control over that, so what can you do? But back to this essence of Avengers. The Avengers, the first one, when I saw in the theaters with my uncle, my aunt, and my cousin. I'm pretty sure my cousin was there. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But we all watched it, and I loved it. I love that movie. It is iconic to me. I wanted it on DVD, and I watched it so many times. I couldn't get enough of it. And it is my favorite Marvel movie. It's not only my favorite Marvel movie, it's in my top favorite movies. It could practically be my most favorite movie. And that is something that I really cared about. And the interesting thing about that is that from that point, I vowed to watch every Marvel movie. Now, I haven't seen the Black Panther yet, and that's just because of money reasons. But I seen every single one except for the rated R movies because can't watch them. And that's, you could call me a loser. You're probably gonna say, "Oh, it's because your parents. You listen to what your parents say." Well, yes. And to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in watching rated R movies anyway. So you could call me a loser or whatever you want to say, but I don't care. I don't care. And you can say whatever you want, and I just don't care. But like I said, Avengers movie is my favorite all-time movie, and I just can't stop watching it. So let's move on, shall we? Right. So now moving on from the Avengers, like I said, I vowed to watch all the Marvel movies from that point on, and I haven't able to see Black Panther like I said before, and it's just because of money reasons, and I will watch it when it comes on DVD for sure. So, but now I vow, and so I seen all the X-Men movies except for Logan because I can't watch rated R movies. I haven't seen any of the rated R Marvel movies, and they're going to say, "Oh, because you're a loser and because your parents say so." Well, yes, and I don't care what you say. In fact, I have no interest in watching rated R movies either. So you could say, "You're a loser. You're a loser. You're a loser," all you want, or you could say something else. But I don't care. I don't care what you say at all. So you could say it all you want. So, all right, and but yeah, so and I haven't basically pretty much all the X-Men movies, and they're okay. I mean, some of them I like, some of them I don't, and some of those I don't like are really just okay. I wouldn't say I dislike them; they're okay. But I like the Spider-Man movies. Not Amazing Spider-Man, they're okay, but I wouldn't say I dislike them, but I wouldn't say they're good. Okay, I wouldn't say that. Most people say they're not good either. But Sam Raimi movies. I think the Sam Raimi, that's Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. And people are gonna hate me this, but I liked the third one. I liked all three of them. And I really wish people did like the third one, but I don't have any problems with the third one. I don't care if Peter dances weird or has that black hair or is mean or whatever dumb things people said about the movie. I liked them all. I liked all three of them. So, in your faces. Alright? Now you're probably saying, what? Did you just say that? You evil person! Or whatever you say. But I really don't care what you call me for liking the third one. You could call me whatever you want, but I don't care. So, yeah. And, so let's move on from there. I also like the Fantastic Four movies. Well, the first one, the Silver Surfer, and I know people are gonna say, "Oh, he likes the Silver Surfer. You're bad," or whatever you say. I don't care. I actually like the Silver Surfer. I like the first one. Now a lot of people did like the first one. It's the second one they ate, which is the Silver Surfer, but I liked them, and even my dad said that the Silver Surfer should have gotten more credit. That it deserved more than what people say. And I agree with him. I have no problems, and I wish there was a third one to complete at least a trilogy, but they had to cancel it after the second one. But, that's life, I guess. That's life, so you have no control over that. And, alright. So, let's really move on from there, shall we? To get off this topic. Okay. So, Thor: The Dark World. People hate it, people dislike it, but me, I don't. I don't have any problems with the Dark World. You can hate me all you want. This guy likes the Dark World? What? How could that be? Well, I like it. So, you could have a problem with that, and I say you can, but I don't care. So, I like the Dark World. Captain America Civil War. Oh man, that was awesome. Ooh, I saw that in the movie theater. And that was awesome. Really awesome. So, most people. Now, I think they tried to do a realist effect on it, and that's probably why some part of me doesn't feel like it's the same, it has that same feeling as the other movies, but on the other hand, it was good, and I don't have a problem with it. Okay, so Iron Man 3. Let's just say it was alright. I think they went too far, especially in that that actor plays the Mandarin. I mean, they fixed it, but still, that was it. There's no words I could really describe how bad that really was, but I would say the movie's okay. I wouldn't say I dislike it, but it was okay. And I hope there could be an Iron Man 4. There probably won't be, but because Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to do any more of those movies, but I really hope like they could actually make it Iron Man 4 and actually do the Mandarin, the real Mandarin. But I guess it's not gonna happen, so now let's move on. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh man, that was awesome and fun. And Chris Pratt did a good job playing Star-Lord. No one else could play Star-Lord. He was really good at that. Okay, so pretty much like everything about that was really funny, fun, a lot of color, which usually in the MCU has a problem with color. A lot of the colors are dull, like gray and black, and or whites and stuff like that. But they did a good job with color. So, and let's see what else is good about it. I mean, I think that's pretty much all I could say. I mean, there's probably more, like, I'm not really going to details between the movies. I'm just saying my overthought of each movie is really what am I talking about, and not specifically the movie. I mean, you guys can comment that if you want me to do an individual review on movie, like go on the characters and all that, but right now it's just the whole Marvel complex as a review. So let's move on from there. The Avengers Age of Ultron. How the Avengers have fallen. Okay, that's probably a little exaggerated. I didn't think it was that bad. Actually, I thought it was good, but not as good as the first one. I definitely have to agree with that. But I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people are saying it was. But I thought it was good. Not better, but good. So now what we got? Oh yeah. So we have Captain America, Civil War, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man Homecoming. There's a lot of movies after the Avengers Age of Ultron, and let's break them down. I don't know which ones came out first, but let's go with Captain America Civil War. Oh man, I know a lot of the plot does not make any sense. I mean, how could possibly the villain think that all possibly would play out? Like, unless you're like a psychic, there's no way he could expect that. But other than that, it was actually pretty fun. And it's the first introduction of Spider-Man, Black Panther, and it was really fun, and very interesting, and battling each other. Superheroes battling superheroes, you don't really see that every day, unless, Batman versus Superman, but you know how that turned out. But, I think Captain America Civil War pulled it off. I would say it was good. There was just like say some problems like the villain, but other than that, it was pretty awesome. See. Okay, so did I do my review on Ant-Man? Huh, I don't remember, but I saw Ant-Man as well. Part of the event. Oh yeah, because no, I didn't talk about Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man took place maybe before the Avengers or after. I don't remember which, but Age of Ultron. I mean, Avengers Age of Ultron, not the original. I mean, Age of Ultron. But Ant-Man. I saw that in the theaters with my mom. She thought it was slow. But I don't know. I don't really care. But Ant-Man, I really enjoyed it. It was fun, actually. I know it's not the original Ant-Man. It's the new version of Ant-Man in the comic books. But it's not. I don't really have a problem with it. And it was like It was fun, and I think that's what they were going for. And the way they did was kind of interesting. Like, superheroes, they're not always their backstory. You don't know what they are, and they're not always good. To think about someone who's kind of bad and a thief becomes a hero is just something that's like you never really think about when you're thinking about a superhero. That's just something you never think about, and I think that's definitely an interesting thing to do for a superhero. And so now also during that time, Fantastic Four the reboot came out. I know a lot of people hate it. I thought it was okay, and to be honest with you, I think it's a nice family movie that like the family could just go and watch. And I don't have really a problem with that, actually. And I think a lot of times when people are watching comic book movies, they judge it based on because it's a comic movie, instead of just judging it based on a movie. Like, I don't like it when people say, "Oh, that's not in the comic books. This movie sucks." Like, why do that? Like, why judge it based on its comparison to the comic books? I mean, yeah, it's from the comic books, and there should be certain things that should be the same as the comic books. I don't disagree with that, but I feel like judging it based on its counterpart in the comic books is just wrong. Like, you should not judge a movie just based on its similarities to the comic books. I mean, why would you do that? When you're making a comic movie, there has to be some difference from the comic books, because then you're just retelling the story in real life action. I mean, does anyone want to watch that? I mean, I guess you want to see what it looks like on TV versus what the comic book shows, but it's not the same. Like, you can't just do the same thing. It just wouldn't work that well. It wouldn't work. At least not as well as... But I'm just saying, you should not judge a comic movie just based on its similarities to a comic book. And I think that's one of the worst... I think that's one of the themes of today, that people keep judging it based on what its counterpart is. And I think that's just wrong. But let's just move on from there. Alright, so Doctor Strange. It was interesting. I don't like the beginning part because it had to do with surgery, and I'm not really into that type of stuff. I really don't like looking at that, but the rest of the movie was interesting, and dive into magic. I like when superheroes have magic and stuff like that, and I think that's really interesting, because some of the superheroes that I'll be creating has to do with magic and stuff, so, from that point, I really like the ending scene of Doctor Strange, where he uses the Infinity Stone, to, change back time, and then trap Dormammu, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but, of him, but he traps him in a repeating time that will never end unless, Dormammu, I think that's what it sounded like, Dormammu in the movie, but I don't really know how to pronounce it, so I'm just gonna go with that until Dormammu listen to what he said, or do what he said, and I like it how the dark space, it kind of reminds me of cereal. Each planet's like one of those cereal circle things with different colors. It reminded me of those type of cereals, but other than that, the movie was pretty interesting and awesome, so let's just move on. Next is Thor the Dark World. No, not Thor the Dark World. Thor Ragnarok. Oh man, that was awesome and funny and pretty interesting. Like, especially the color. A lot of the colors in there is pretty awesome, and Hela was an interesting character, and they changed that from the comic books because Hela's not is not the daughter of Odin. I think either she's the wife or the daughter of Loki. I don't know which one was which, but because I don't really read comic books and I don't remember specifically everything about that, but it was something like that. She didn't really have any relation to Odin whatsoever, so that's all I know. At least if it's Loki's daughter, then she would, but, well, of course, Loki's adopted, so not really. I mean, they won't be blood related, but, I don't know what to say. But, let's just move on, for that point. And I also really like this ending scene where they made a joke where it says, Asgard, I'm destroy it. Like, it's funny, like, he said in the beginning that I would destroy Asgard, and at the end he destroys Asgard. It's like, I forgot his name, but I think, I can't, see, I don't remember these people's names, like, and it's just, like, the main villain. The main villain is the only ones I really remember, but those, like, those off villains, I can't really remember. I think it's Mortar. Mortar, yeah. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's more. See, I don't really remember like a lot of side characters offhand or side villains. I don't remember like the main characters and villains mostly. Because they're not like because the side characters aren't as very important to the plot. But, so, I don't really remember their names, because I'm not really paying attention to them. Most I'm paying attention to the main characters, because that's what is, needed. But, from that point, let's just say, like, Thor Ragnarok was really funny, and I like the ending scene for sure, and everything's really interesting, so, I know I should get some better describing words, but like I said, I'm not very critic on movies. If it's about a topic I like, I automatically like. If it's movies about a topic that I like, I automatically like the movie, so even if other people hate it, it just, I don't know. If it's Marvel, I like it. That's all I have to say. If it's Star Wars, I like it, and I don't care what people say, so, no. And, let's see. Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. That was interesting. They changed, Peter Quill's, father, from the comic books, to, Ego the Living Planet. And even though there's not necessarily a villain in the movie, it's more of like a grouping thing. It's really funny. Like, they did pull like the second off really well. And I can't wait till the third one, but, I don't know we can't really tell what's gonna go what's gonna happen, what characters are gonna be in the third one, because some of them might die in the Avengers Age of Ultron. Not Age of Infinity War. Why did I say that? Avengers Infinity War, I mean. We don't know which characters are gonna die, so it's a very possibility some of them will die before Guardians of the Galaxy. The ones I'm pretty sure are gonna survive are Gamora and Star-Lord. But the other three, the Drax, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot. Yeah, so, I am Groot. That's funny, that's all he says. Whatever. So basically, one of them could absolutely die. Of course, I don't think they're gonna kill Groot again. I mean, even though he technically didn't die, but, I don't know how to really describe his death in the first movie, but if you call it a death, you could comment below if you think it was a death or it's just some weird thing that happened. But, so most likely they're not gonna kill him, because it'd be kind of weird to kill him again. Not that, since he's a baby or a teenager in the movie, it's gonna be kind of weird. Teenage Groot versus Thanos. That'd be very weird. Very, 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 very weird. But it's probably gonna happen anyway, so. Yeah, I mean, and I definitely like the Yondu. Yeah, Yondu. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I should be saying that right. Why am I not saying that right? Whatever. Yondu, I know, I wish he didn't die, but, the ending was really awesome. And I wish they could make, like, a fourth Guardians of the Galaxy, or like, prequel, where it has the original Guardians, Yondu, and all of them, like, the original Guardians. Them have a movie with that. That would be really awesome. And probably explain why they became Ravengers too. That would be very interesting. And I think that would be awesome. So I think that should be all the movies. Hopefully I'm not forgetting any. Well, I can't really talk about Black Panther because I haven't seen it yet. So I would, but I would talk about it if I've seen it, but I haven't seen it yet. So, and I eventually will, hopefully. So, yeah, I think that is all the movies. So let's talk about the shows now. Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Seen every single episode without a miss. I have never missed an episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I love that show. It's in its 5th season, and I'm glad that Disney said, "Oh, you're not canceling it. No way, Jose." And I definitely agree. So yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Glad Disney didn't cancel it. And unfortunately, I don't know what they're going to do after the 5th season. It might get canceled, but hopefully Disney stops them again. Because the show is awesome. Now, the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. essentially, right after the Avengers. I think, I don't know what time, but it wasn't that long, and I started watching, and, it's somewhere around Phil Coulson and a team and, well, Phil Coulson died in the first Avengers, okay? And, they bring him back to life for the show, with alien blood, as we find out over the years, because, and then they eventually introduced the Inhumans to the MCU, and they also introduced Ghost Rider in season 4. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and I liked every episode. There were some parts that I didn't so like, but most of the show I loved. I mean, it is so amazing. I really hope they don't cancel it. I mean, there's several shows that I've seen, and after 2 or 1 or 3 or 4 seasons, or they get canceled, and I don't like that. I don't like when shows cancel, but of course that happens. Shows end because either money or that other people just stop watching it because it's too old. Unfortunately, that's what happens. Shows end, but I really hope Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't end. I know a lot of people say some of the seasons were boring, and some people didn't connect to the characters, but I did, and I just can't see a day where that show is no more. I don't know. It's probably gonna happen, but I just wish they wouldn't, but it happens, especially with Marvel Inhumans. That could have ruined it too, because Marvel Inhumans was supposed to be a movie, then it was turned to a show, a rushed show, and got very bad reviews, even though I thought it was okay. In fact, I wouldn't say it's the best. I just said I think it's middle, like 50-50, and I think it deserved more than what it got, but I mean, I actually kind of I do want to see a second season at least, maybe just one more season, Especially they need to grow Medusa's hair back. I don't know, like they cut it off two-way in the series, so you don't really get much of her hair because that's her power. But I mean, I really want to see like a second season, and hopefully the second season's done better. So, but that was a recent show and it came out last year. So, now the Netflix shows, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, The Punisher, and Iron Fist. Daredevil. When I first started watching Daredevil, and at first it was a little bit too graphic for me. Not just personally, I felt like, well, if this is part of the MCU, it doesn't exactly have the same tone as the movie, so how could it possibly be in the same universe? It just didn't make any sense. But over time, I know other people liked them, and I gave in and watched the entire series. I know there was a lot of blood I didn't like, but I didn't really let that ruin the series for me, and I really liked it, and I enjoyed it. I even watched season 2, and I can't wait till season 3. I really want to see the end of season 3. Jessica Jones, it was interesting taking a superhero way, and I don't know really how to describe it, but I enjoyed it. Luke Cage as well. And Iron Fist, I also enjoyed. I don't care what people say about it. I didn't have a problem with it. Of course, I never read the comic book, so I see probably why people didn't like it. But like I said, you can't really just stop judging it based on its comic counterpart. But a lot of people say it's not just that. It's the actor they chose, and the script, and the moves, the choreography. But I don't really care about that stuff. I mean, when I make like movies, I'm gonna have to care about that. I have to care about what fans look at, that what other people look at, the choreography and the words. But watching it is a different story. And to me, when I watch something, I really don't care about the words they say, unless it's swearing. Then I really care, but I just ignore that and I don't let that ruin a movie. But I'm saying, like, if it's cheesy, like, saying what they're saying is kind of cheesy or not very smart or ever thought about, I don't really care about that. I never think about a movie what they're saying or what their moves are, and I really don't care what actor they choose either. If they choose it and then I watch so many times, then it kind of feels like iconic to me and no one else can play it. But yeah, I don't really care about that. And I like to clarify, when I mean I don't care about the dialogue, I don't mean I don't pay attention to it. I do pay attention to the dialogue and what the characters say. It's just that I don't care if people say it's bad dialogue or it's good dialogue. I don't really have an opinion on that. So, and now, okay. So now I've talked about Iron Fist. Now, The Punisher, I watched it, and until after I watched it, I didn't realize until after that it is a TV show's version of a rated R. And I didn't know that, but now I do, and I could see why it was, but, since I did see it, I can talk about it. Well, at least not all of it, but there were some parts I didn't like, but I thought it was enjoying and interesting. So that's pretty much all I can say about that. I think the person who they chose to play Frank Castle, The Punisher was really good, and I think a lot of people will agree with me. Now, Marvel's The Runaways, which should be the final Marvel show that's in the MCU. And I thought it was interesting, actually. It was actually really fun, and besides a couple things I didn't like, it was really good, and especially like the powers. I mean, I never read the comic books, but I think it's really interesting that these are just a bunch of kids and their parents are evil. And I think that's just something different and to superheroes. It's really interesting thing to do. Cool thing. And I think if parents were evil, if your parents were evil, that's something I think they would necessarily do. But yeah, and I thought it was kind of cool how they did it, because usually they released it on Hulu, but they kind of released it like a normal show where like you have one episode per week on a date, and I think that's kind of interesting. Even though I wasn't expecting that, it was kind of interesting how they did that. I think that's all the Marvel MCU shows. Now, for the other shows, I seen The Gifted, and I thought that was interesting as well. Actually, I liked it, and I watched every episode of that until the season's over. And it's interesting that it's going to get a second season, even though Disney is inheriting Fantastic Four. Well, inheriting Fox, but I'm saying Marvel's getting back X-Men and Fantastic Four. So now, since they're getting that, the only thing they don't have is the Hulk character and the characters, and then the Spider-Man characters. Now, yeah, so pretty much those, yes, definitely, they don't have the Hulk or the Spider-Man characters. And now, speaking of Spider-Man characters, I now realize what I forgot, which movie I forgot to talk about. So, Spider-Man Homecoming, yes, I did see that. And I thought Disney Marvel pulled it off, like, better than Sony would have. Now, Sony got all the money, of course they do, but it's definitely better than Amazing Spider-Man, I'll tell you that's for sure. I don't know, a lot of people say it's not as good as the Sam Raimi films, and I'm not really want to compare because I love both of them. So, so yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming was really fun, and it was really interesting. I really liked it, and it was awesome. My mom loves the Sam Raimi films. She did not want to see Amazing Spider-Man. She downrighted hated them. She didn't even watch them. She already said she disliked them because she didn't want that. She didn't want a new reboot. And so I actually forced her to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. And turns out she liked it. So I think that was one of my goals, because I really felt like Sony cannot pull off another good Spider-Man. They can't. And I was glad that they struck a deal with Disney and Marvel so that Spider-Man could be in the MCU. And because I feel like Marvel could pull it off, and I felt like they did. It may not be good, or it may not be as good as the Sam Raimi films, but I really liked it and enjoyed it, and I think Marvel did put a really good job, like I thought they would. I thought that Sony couldn't, and so someone else did. And I really hope Sony bobs with the Venom and all the other spin-off movies, because I really don't want to see another. I really want Sony to give up. Like I want them to just give up. Like I don't even know why they're still trying. They really need to give back Spider-Man permanently, not just a partnership. Permanently give it back. Like I need them to do that. I gave up Ghost Rider, because the Luke Cage. I saw the Luke Cage movies. I forgot to talk about that, and I thought they were enjoying. But I don't think Luke Cage was the best character, and I can see why people disliked it. I liked the first one. I don't know. The second one was kind of weird. Didn't really get it, but it kind of confused. It got a little weird from the first one, but I did see that, and it was okay. Forgot to say that, but they seriously need to give that back. I know Disney is inquiring too much, and that is something that's kind of bad in a certain point of view, but Marvel needs to get back everything. I really feel like they need everything back, like Hulk and Spider-Man are the last two things that they don't have. There's only two things left. Marvel got everything back. Like, no one ever thought that would ever happen. I mean, especially not X-Men and Fantastic Four. At least I was hoping Fox would at least do something with the Fantastic Four, like do what Sony did with Spider-Man, but the fact that Fox actually gave up their entire company, wow, that I did not expect. That I especially definitely never expect X-Men to go back, because even though X-Men had some fails, they're actually doing pretty well with the X-Men, I do have to say. So it was like, I was really surprised about that. But Marvel has pretty much gotten back everything. And I actually really hope they do get back everything. But it may be another few years. But I think Sony has released several bad movies in these past few years, which keeps killing their movie industry. And I hope Venom bombs. Like, I know it's rated R, but I hope it bombs. And I hope all their other spin-off movies without Spider-Man are bombed. And I really hope those movies are part of the MCU, because I do not want the MCU for sure. No. That's not happening. I really hope Sony doesn't oh, they could be in the MCU. Come on, Feige, come on. Accept it, come on. I'm like, Feige, please don't give in to them. Keep your strong will of not letting them into the MCU. I beg. Don't let them put Spider-Man, don't let them Tom Holland Spider-Man into those movies. Because I don't know. I just, please, Feige, please do not fall into that, please. I beg. I want Sony to bomb. I want those movies to go down in the trash, and so that Sony can give up and we're just sort of give them back Spider-Man, because I know for a fact Sony is not gonna. I knew for a fact when they said, "Oh, Venom," I knew for a fact it's not gonna go well. I mean, a lot of people are saying that they got a good actor and all that, but I really hope it bombs. Like, I hope people hate it. I hope people hate the other spin-off movies, so that every single of those will make Sony want to give back Spider-Man to Marvel even more. I just need them to do. I need that to happen. I really do, but it might not, and people actually might like Venom, which would be unfortunate. Very, 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 very unfortunate, but I really hope Marvel eventually gets back all their characters because that's something they need, because it's their characters. I mean, why should other companies be using their characters? Like, I know it was money. I know for it was money reasons, but they got back everything else, so why not? Now let's move on from there. Now I think that pretty much it's wrapping up. I've talked about all the movies, the shows, everything I pretty much liked about Marvel. And I don't think there is really anything else to talk about. So, what is there else to talk about? Is there anything else? I mean, the animated series are interesting. I do watch them, like the Avengers, the new Avengers show. Well, it's not new anymore, but I think they canceled Earth My Heroes and re-released a new Avengers show because they don't match up. Like, it doesn't match up, but because there are several flaws to why they don't match up. But like, for instance, there's no Janet, there's no Hank Pym, the Ant-Man, there's Black Widow is there, and Hawkeye, or Black Widow is in there, so, which wasn't in the other ones, and they kind of made it more look like the Avengers more, like from the movie standpoint, like the way they dressed looks more similar to that, and that's probably what they did. They canceled to have an Avengers show that looks more like the MCU. Except for the Guardians of the Galaxy is nothing like the MCU. Well, actually, I take that back. It pretty much is, except for one thing. Star-Lord's dad, definitely different from the MCU, I'll tell you that's for sure. Because they actually took his Star-Lord's actual dad from the comic books into the animated show. And, that was interesting, definitely. But those are the only Marvel shows that are really going on. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers. There isn't really any other one. And specifically, or not, yeah, I think that's pretty much all Marvel that there is in this world as up to this point. And can't wait for Avengers Infinity War. And Ant-Man the Wasp, and Spider-Man 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and, let's see. Any other releases that are doing, like Captain Marvel, can't wait for that. Doctor Strange 2, if that's thinking, and can't wait to see Black Panther. Because I haven't seen that yet, so, yeah. Alright, guys, I think that's it. So, remember, trust me. Wait, no. That's good. Okay, guys. Remember, trust me, I am a superhero. See, with Captain America, Iron Man, and if you can't see it, Thor. And so trust me, I am a superhero, and so are you. Thank you. Goodbye.